Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second in our series of Autotech. Now, some of you won't know too much about Autotech, exactly what it is, but let me just tell you, it's a great opportunity for me to have some really good chats with some fascinating people who have got perspectives, opinions, and experience on certain technology aspects within the automotive space. And I talk about technology, I'm talking about digitization, connectivity. And if you are here for the first time, welcome. If you are joining us, having seen the first of our sessions from last time, welcome back. As I said, this is the second in our series, and this time we have a real feast for you. You know, I am going to be talking to, I would say, a real inventor, but someone who is an adventurer as well, because this individual was at the vanguard. He was at the very forefront almost 10 years ago of e-commerce in the automotive industry. And it was his company that was a global first, whereby you could buy a brand new car entirely online. And since then, Rockar has gone from strength to strength. So it gives me enormous pleasure right now to introduce to you Simon Dixon. Simon, hi, lovely to see you. I can't believe, Simon, it was 10 years ago that you embarked on this incredible journey. And I really want to sort of say to you and question you, you know, it's 10 years on. Do you think, and are you a little disappointed that it hasn't progressed further than this? And is that because customers actually haven't embraced the digitization of e-commerce in the automotive space as much as you hoped?
Again, so thank you first of all for that warm welcome, and it's good to be back amongst old friends chatting, as you and I go way back now. But yeah, I mean, just to answer that question, a big question to open up on. Yeah, I think there is a tinge of that it's taken too long. Where we were sort of when we started this business was with a clear view, with a clear feedback from customers, because we spent the first year of our operation just indulging ourselves in what customers were wanting, what they were seeing, what they were feeling. I'd had my own experience being outside the industry for 8 years and seeing it on the other side of the fence and being really quite shocked about how it was not really delivering a customer experience. So I would say from that you can take that customers want change. Customers are looking for change. They have change in everything they do, in every aspect of their life. Yet this whole car automotive thing has stuck in its way for so long. I think the change, the sort of why it's taken so long is probably because of how successful the industry has been in the old way. It sold millions of cars. OEMs were very successful. Big retailers and retailers were successful. There's, why do we need to change? Must have been the question. Well, we're actually, the danger was not changing or not adapting. And as we see new entrants coming in and as sort of shaking that whole thing up, it's been a really interesting situation. For me, though, it has taken too long. So I think the very quick answer to that question is it's taken too long. But the whole pandemic thing now has accelerated this. We were businesses forced into serving their customers remotely without stores, dealerships open, had to have a level of success. We've seen levels of success all across the industry in keeping that momentum going. So the pandemic, a very unfortunate thing, was probably a fortunate thing for the industry, that it's shown that there's a way to do business.
So are you saying that it's not the customer who has dragged its feet, it's the industry that's dragged its feet?
It's absolutely not the customer. I mean, you can dig in all different directions of how customers feel about this industry, and there's quite often there's not much positivity that comes out of it. They end up buying a car that they really want to buy and they want to love owning and using, but they despise the actual experience of buying it. It's too much of a sales controlled, sales manipulated, price manipulated industry, and that's alien now because we don't do that in many other aspects of our life. So yeah, I think it's absolutely the customer is there, open arms, wanting change to this experience.
Okay, I can hear many motor dealers absolutely shouting at the screen at this moment in time, saying that is absolutely not how it is, and we've got a great customer database. And you have to say that the difference between buying a car and buying a washing machine is that it's an emotive purchase. You have to go in and feel and touch and experience the car itself. So why should they go? Why should they go and transact and do everything online?
Well, I think first of all, I can appreciate how retailers, dealers will be feeling. I was one for 20 years. That same process was what I drove every day in that business. It was only outside of that, when I was on the other side of the fence, that I saw it really from a consumer's eyes and saw the lack of value that was in that sales process from a customer experience point of view. So you can then point to, well, cars are emotive, we need to do this, we need to do that. The whole thing is, the whole industry is wrapped in beautiful marketing, beautiful products. We're messaged from every single point of media that we can be. We see things, we see our friends and family and other people driving the cars we love. So this doesn't all have to be an emotional thing about visiting a car dealership. This is where I think the industry's got it wrong. Forcing customers to only be able to transact by only going to that point of reference is the wrong thing to do, because customers have a wider aspect of the product. And we are emotionally attached. Many people say, I only want a car from A to B, but they want it from A to B for a reason. So there is an emotional attachment with cars, but it doesn't have to be that you can only get that via visiting a showroom. Using the car, access that car as quick and as simply as possible without the stress makes you feel very differently about that product as well. So,
but the thing with an e-commerce strategy is that it's very transparent. It has to be. There is no negotiation, which is what you've said. But with that, I would question as whether I get the best deal. I go into a dealership, I will be offered some discount. We'd have a little bit of a banter together and a chat, and I get a little bit more discount out of it. Actually, under the Rockar and under any e-commerce strategy, surely I'm not going to get that best opportunity for me as the customer, because you're going to give me, not the optimum discount, but a reasonable discount. So actually, from a CX point of view, it's a negative situation ultimately, isn't it?
Well, I think that's ultimately where the industry has the problem, because the problem about this whole lack of transparency in the process, and it depends on how hard you negotiate or how good you are, or whether you bring a friend with you to enable that whole negotiation, actually undermines the customer's confidence in the product. It makes them feel that they never actually got the best deal, even though they may have got the best deal. There's a variety of activity that goes on in order to do that. So the biggest fundamental point the industry has is that lack of transparency, that lack of trust about how they actually getting the right transaction price. So something like Rockar and a true e-commerce model sets that out. We don't vary that price, because that undermines what the proposition again is, undermines that transparency. But because we're in this industry surrounded by 99% of that activity, you have to fight very hard for that piece of understanding. So it is an issue. It is one of those things to manage going through, but ultimately it's what the customer wants. The customer wants the right price, wants to be able to gather that information from multiple different sources. We talk about Amazon, for example, being very price active, but actually sometimes things are more expensive on Amazon. You can see this, and you'll still potentially make that decision on Amazon because of the other things it gives. The certainty it's going to arrive quicker. And I know if it's not right, I can send it back. So these things add a value to that pricing transparency. So,
but Amazon have been accused of being the death knell for House of Fraser, for Debenhams. Are you the death knell? Is Rockar and e-commerce the death knell for the motor dealership?
Well, I certainly wouldn't like you to put that title above our heads, Tony. But the customer, I hear this quite often where people say, oh, this new thing killed off this business, this killed off this, and you have like Blockbuster being killed by video streaming and music industry changing through Spotify and Netflix and all these type of things. But actually what they were doing is they were serving the customer an experience they wanted. They were delivering something the customer wanted. It's just these other businesses didn't change and transform. And I think the message from me would be the businesses that are very successful today can transform themselves into a digital experience that the customer wants, and that's where it's going. So why hold back? Why not embrace it and embrace it truly in all the things you need to change in the business?
There you go. There's the message from Simon. So it is, you're saying they can coexist, but it takes a big transformation for the motor dealership. Interesting. This is just the start of the debate. Simon, thank you very much indeed. Thank you all for listening and for watching. Hopefully it has spurred you to think a little bit more about it. Do put your comments down and we will get back to you with our answers. Thank you so much for watching, and look out for the next in the series. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Tony.